PE Sports and Railroad, and then we have Forest Red with EVOS and BTR, and not far from them is WAG. In base camp, there's also GOW and Expand, and WAG is just in the middle of those four teams. So I don't know who's taking advantage of this, but if WAG can play it similar to what we've seen earlier, they can get a few more of elimination on the early engagements.
I mean, hopefully they do and stay energized while doing it, because Red Bull Zinc and Vitamin from Thailand is supplemented with Zinc B3 as well as B6, featuring a mild taste that it keeps players stay highly focused to seize every single opportunity to get that stylish booyah. So once again, thank you Red Bull, as always, for not only supporting us, but making sure that these teams are always energized throughout the spring and as well as fall season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of energy has been felt by the teams right now, and it's because of Red Bull as well as the pressure of getting into the top 12, as we are just starting off a few more matches to head into the end of the first phase of the knockout stage. But I'm loving that there's so much of energy that has been put in by the teams, and even survivability that happened. But I guess we are ready, Gideon, to get into the next game in Alpine. Let's see if this is what a Pharaoh can take advantage, because it seems like this is one of the map that they would have a best chance of still getting in the top spot. And if they are good enough to get a lot of elimination, they can overtake PE Sports and get the 4th place.
Hey, despite being called Pharaohs, let's see whether or not they can continue to dominate these snowy Alps, right? We're hoping to see these teams play into Snowfall. For me in particular, I'm hoping that some team takes Snowfall, and it looks like Flash has opted to go for it, while Todak goes for Garrison, Falcons into their usual spot, Militia being taken on by PR. What about Expand as well as GOW? It looks like Expand have decided to change their spot and head down towards Rise side. I'm not sure if that's just the scout or all 4 members, but we'll see in just a little bit, because if it's Kagendra, you know that it's going to be an early fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, not quite sure if that's something that they're really taking advantage of, or they're the ones in the losing end. But we'll have to find out. WAG right now, Riverside, and this is, oh, there you have it, expanded Kagendra Stadium right now, and it's more of Kagendra taking the bigger compound, bigger building in this mix. So it might be an advantage for Expand, because if they can take the smaller areas, smaller houses, then they can get a lot more loot compared to Kagendra, and then once they meet against each other, that's where Expand would be a little bit more stronger.
Look, he's currently running the Homer right now. I did see them also have a Chrono ready to go. So at this point, it's about the loot pool, right? Kagendra, again, have looted the majority of the big buildings. High-tier loot has already been found. I would assume he could get a little unlucky on the RNG. It's tough to say. But you can see that both Expand as well as Kagendra not immediately running at each other. Majority of them don't even have their armors ready.
Yeah, I mean, this is one thing. There's a huge risk, especially in a hot drop just like this. And Vaults, though, good rotation on him. The only question is, will they be regrouping as well as barricading themselves, because they have a better chance of surviving if that happened. But for Loki, well, it has been reversed. 3 players make that 2 players against him. That weight make it difficult for Expand to survive. Now Rama would be the focus of 2 players of the team, and I'm loving what Kagendra is doing right now. Isolation and then going for the hit. Divide and conquer, as we call it.
Expand. Oh, getting blasted down just in time. Can he get a revive at the very least? It looks like he might have been able to do so. But while all this was happening, the scout, Cyrus, has been sniffing out the gunshots coming in from Kagendra. Oh, did they not see him? I'm pretty sure that Raz spotted his backside, and now that should lead to the rest of the team jumping on forward, as we see the Todak is in the middle of a fight by Railroads against PE Sports, and it's a pretty open field. Unfortunately, it's a 1-for-1 trade for now. They can't let him get that revive off, but Fies is able to take out Nero with a quick headshot with his AWM. Vidals is the next to follow through. Fies, really, really good picks.
Yeah, I'm seeing great potential for Todak right now, especially in CQC, because we know from Malaysia's side, they're the ones winning Clash Squad, and this engagement is like typical Clash Squad gameplay. Now, Team Pharaoh has inserted a coin and will be the next challenger in that battle. And let's see if Todak is prepared to go against them. But for WAG, they will be left with 3 and they need to move away.
Fies ends up getting picked off here. Dawn already finishes him off as Noki gets the instant revive back. Off screen, GOW faces off against Onyx Olympus. Cut back to that. Onyx on their last member and immediately get eliminated here. It wasn't even close. No members from the side. I just thought I saw Hans go down, but he got picked up straight away. Oh my goodness. We cut back to WAG against Kagendra, and Kagendra currently leading the eliminations for this current map as WAG finally get Explorer back up to speed here as they creep around looking for an entry point or at least a pick on one of the Kagendra members.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, it's tough, especially on how they are spread right now. But I guess passive gameplay is also something that would work for WAG. But for Pharaoh, Cougar, no eliminations just yet for him, but is connected with that electrotherapy and a little bit too aggressive, especially he spotted Vidals already. But a quick recovery, quick revive has been done by Todak. Now, a lot of engagement has been happening. We have I guess it's working against my condition right now because the focus is switching from one team or one engagement to the other, and given that, still have 11 teams, so it looks like it's similar to what we've seen earlier in the previous map.
It looks like everybody's being a little more aggressive. They're all sending out their scouts to look for potential engagements happening across the map, especially if they have neighbors within the area here. Traps trying to get the shot, unable to finish off the last quarter of WAG's health, but GOW's health, but he wins out that fight. Todak now have to go for another reset, and the waiting game between WAG alongside Kagendra continues on here in Stadium. And I think this is going to boil over into the second round.
Let's see though, second round, who's going to ring the bell? And WAG right now, well, Kagendra already have the court on their side. So they have the home court. WAG would be the ones as guests, and 2 players might be the target. Raf right now almost being taken down with a shot, but quickly recovered, and Tikui backs away. So this might be a bait and switch being done by WAG, but no one from Kagendra is falling for that. But PLS1 says, no, we're going to take you down one at a time. Cyrus knocked down, and as well as Tikui, Raze with the double vector, and not quite sure if this will work, but WAG has been taken down. The aggressiveness of Kagendra has already paid for them with 8 eliminations.
WAG, they got comfortable, and they got comfortable too quick. Zenzi already double headshotting, finding an elimination of his own, putting his team up in 4. But yeah, WAG really dropped the ball after they saw the initial Kagendra member wide swing in to the time turner, which again shouldn't be the case. They already knew they could see the time turner through the wall of which they were holding the court from. You can never let your foot off the gas. GOW still at odds against Todak. This has been going on for a while. They've accumulated 7 eliminations at this point.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, it's more of back and forth, but it's a good thing that pickup's being done on GLW, and there's no revival involved for this team. So they're still maintaining their, I would say, passive approach, just going in against teams that is close or they know that they have advantage. But if they know as well that a lot of teams will be within the area, they would flank longer. But as you can see right now, Dian is part of a hit list. So this is also one reason why players are, or teams specifically, are pulling away from the group, because once you are on that hit list, your place in the map is shown. So you don't want to go to engagement. They will wait for the final 2 minutes, I would say. I think that was the time that we have on Dian, until it dies down, and then they can go with the rotation with the rest of the teams.
It's free information. The rest of the Todak members still on the outside of the blue, looking for any ways to go in. Faiz knows that he's in trouble. He's communicating with the rest of his team to actually go and start rotating clockwise down south and then eventually to the western side to hopefully bypass the members holding Faiz hostage here. As we can see that Kagendra, he's looking for that opportunity. They see Faiz fly off. They don't catch him in time. But do they realize that GOW is already on the prowl? They go to the second floor to double confirm. They want to make sure that nobody else is here.
Yeah, well, I also guess that they realized it because they saw it in the minimap. And with that hit list being available, or being, I would say, much cheaper, a lot of players, a lot of teams have been using it, and we've seen that so much, even from last week. A lot of markers being shown on the map, giving off their location, and that's one reason why some of the teams are playing passive. And some of the teams as well know exactly where they need to head if they're aggressive enough. But for Kendra, aggressiveness is still paying through. CT7 would be, I would say, falling back into the fray, but Raz right now would be falling down because of what's happening against Todak. But Todak is already spread out. But fortunate for Noki, though, he has been isolated from the rest of the team, and Todak being outside of blue, same with Kagendra, would need to find a way onto the next phase of the circle. Otherwise, it will just them going down one at a time.
I mean, they need to beat out these Todak members who've been gatekeeping them and been fighting them for such a long time at this point. And not to mention that they're sitting around a vending machine, so they can easily finish them off and then look to come back to full fighting force. PR having to take the second floor here, realizing that Evo's Divine are their next door neighbors. I'm going to guess that it's all the members of Flash in there. Yup. Every single member on that second floor.
Now, the thing is, on the second floor, there's still a lot of safety. This is a safety net for a lot of teams because a team can rush on the ground floor as long as they keep guard on the stairs. But I don't think there's a problem right now for Team Flash. It's more of Evos that I'm second guessing their position, their spread. 2-2 on a split, and it's easy that a squad can just fly in using a launch pad and take away 2 of the players, leaving the others, or half of the team, well, dumbfounded on what happened. So hopefully they have a plan to recover or to regroup later on, but being an edge of circle, there's still plenty of time for them to move. So 6 seconds, make that 5 seconds remaining until the blue closes in, and the rest of the teams will be also flying in. And Rasia, good in snipes, has already spotted Esports.
Nicely played by Evos to make sure that they have a wide spread of information, right? Because that's the only reason why you want to have 2 buildings with a 2-and-2 formation, is to be able to cover more space and actually locate other teams rotating in. You might not be able to gatekeep as hard, but that's why Russia was picking his head out very early on, looking towards that northern side, because initially they were getting shot by BTR, and that's why you can see their glue walls on the outside of their compound, and Russia just needs to show enough presence to keep them in check. These angles are not safe, and everybody needs to be reminded about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you only have 1 or 2 windows, then you might be able to keep yourself safe, but on the other hand, it's BTR taking advantage of what Evos or Rasia was spotting on earlier. He knows a few players are dropping in, but since BTR has better vantage point, not only for those dropping in from the revive, but also those coming out, I guess this is a way for them to be a little bit more aggressive, but not in CQC. And I love the shift being done by BTR right now.
Wait, where is Kagendra? Where did they go? Oh, there they are, coming in from the southern side, but except it's just CT7 for now, taking the leap behind the Falcons. Now, Falcons have been extremely passive, right? We haven't seen them get into hefty fights just yet. They come from the southern side, but they are playing on a dangerous piece of land, and the next ring cut in half by the river, working out in their favor. CT7 eventually goes down, and that's going to be another squad down and out.
Let's see though, the Knucklers being used, and the 3 teams who has been in this specific area where Evo's Divine is are still there. So it's either Evo's Divine relocates, and they are doing right now, going into where Team Falcons are, and only 2 players are in this place. And Aim God managed to be taken out by player from PE Sports, but they need to deal with Team Falcons right now. Up close and personal, Rasia taking down Pina, and as well as recovering a teammates, Liminix 7 and Onfire has been split up, so Evo's Divine has taken over the small shack and pushed Falcons away.
Man, this is a risky move, but an important one to do. And most importantly, they're knocking the Falcons out of position, leaving them out in the wild because everybody else can see them within line of sight. They're just across the river. They have to play on the backside of this shack because they've already accidentally lost the member to a pick as Expand. Once again, getting eliminated by Todak this time round. As we now see that the blue is eventually going to start closing in. PR coming in from the northern side. FGLs are going to be thrown to try and move the positions. Does that mean that EVOS is going to jump out? I wouldn't imagine that they want to do so.
I doubt it, because I am pretty sure they know that Team Falcon's still in there. Team Flash is a similar situation that we've seen on Team Falcons. The only difference is they will need to deal with 4 players from Pharaoh compared to the 2 that Evos is dealing with. So small shacks being taken, well, loss of real estate, and this is happening not only for Evos, Team Flash, even PE Sports on the other side.
Yeah, a lot of resources are being utilized between PR and as well as Flash right now. Oh! And as the ring pulls over directly onto PE Sports, what a call! As Falcons finally get eliminated as the rest of the EVOS members were able to push out. But they realize that Todak has been very nearby, taking pot shots at them initially. They don't find the initial pick, but they want to go for more. They see the tip of that monster truck, so they gotta be careful not to get too close, especially in that floating side. PR and as well as Flash, an all-in engagement breaks out between the two. It's a 2 versus 2 situation. Death and Zomb versus Zenith, and as well as Dawn. The launcher has done its work, but the time turner keeping and forcing it into CQC. Zenith actually gets the trade onto Hong Am, turning this into a 3v2. PR get eliminated. Flash come up on top.
Yeah, still on top and still has potential to bring all of their teammates on the final circle. So they're very close though on the edge and only need to deal with PE Sport, but also Evos on the other side of the river. So we'll see on what move Evos in mind will need to do. Either launch pad or just swim across, because there's a lot of pressure not only coming from PE Sports but also from GOW and Team Flash. But Todak will be taken down. The ridge is slowly being taken by Evos Divine, and they're still surviving this fight.
They took the Riptide Rhythms to the face. They threw out the healing UAV to power through and save some med kits. And now PE Sports, they're positioning themselves right in front of their doorstep because they see GOW, they see Flash fighting each other. They get close to the chalet. If they can break this open, they might have a chance. Riptide Rhythms come through as all hell breaks loose. And Kojil already finds Arashio with a headshot at close range, point blank. And they should clean this fight up. 2 members down, but no eliminations of their own. They just need to get the revives. They've held out long enough as the blue now decides to move to the northern side.
Yeah, and GOW is giving Evos Divine time to recover as they battle against Team Flash from distance. But the moment that Evos Divine steps away, then that's where the battle will ensue. Rip right now heading in straight to Team Falcon, or Team Flash rather, and Evos Divine keeps them at bay. Koi will be taken down. They got information, and now they're chasing against GOW, the savior of their team. And Team Flash will be on the other side, the other compound. Now, Evos Divine is rushing in. Coach Chill on the front line. Rasya right now in Overwatch. And, well, they shift their momentum to GOW. It's much easier to deal with them up close and personal, out and open compared to Team Flash. But it's a team versus team right now, Gideon.
Yep, it's team versus team, and Rashio is just landing some good headshots right now. He's at a high point. Death the next to fall, and Zom should be falling pretty soon after. Evos just get handed the booyah. A huge mistake coming out from GOW side. They wanted to finish Flash up, but they didn't realize the revive speed was insane from Flash.
Bro, I mean, I don't know how Evos managed to do it. They were being targeted by 3 teams after they took down Team Falcons, and they still managed to revive, cross the river, and then dealt with teams one at a time. And this is something that we rarely see from a team go on a 1v4, I would say. Not 1v4 on the player, but 1v4 on a team. And Evos Divine managed to pull it off.
Kind of ridiculous, right? Those small moments that we see from the side of EVOS Divine, they like to regroup a lot. If one member goes down, you play defensively until we get the full 4, and then we push back out immediately. That split second of, hey, let's chill behind in front of the chalet real quick, give us a moment to breathe, gave them all the information they need, right? As soon as they engage, the engagement between Flash and as well as GOW started to begin, and then they started to trade spots. I can't believe that GOW, after finding the pixel on Flash, didn't full send it on them. They sent 3 members, they didn't send all 4, thinking that maybe EVOS was going to start peeking out again, because they had to make the choice there and then.
Well, one thing that GOW could have done them in that regard.
Yep, teams who are looking to hurt their opponents and then chase them afterwards are really going to benefit on a map like this. So it's kind of 50-50 for squads like Onyx Olympus or even Team Flash, assuming that they don't take an early engagement from the get-go. And let's assume that they do win it. Still, moving on, they are going to need some prime weaponry if they want to survive.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where that assault bunker is really important, as well as the airdrops has been coming in, like from most instances that the team is gathering in that spot. But that would depend on where they will be rotating. The flight path is also a huge determination or determining factor if they would start off early
whether
or
or not
a little
it's
bit
going
later.
to be their game or not, it's tough to say. But considering that these teams are already throwing each other high fives, it looks like we might be jumping into the map real soon here. We'll see whether or not it's going to be just as aggressive. But I feel like so far, I'm really hoping that Bigatron gets back up on their feet. I thought they had an opportunity finding some prime positioning at the beginning of today's map, Purgatory, but from then on, it doesn't seem like they've been able to really pump the numbers out. They always get a little unfortunate once they get into the top 6 position, losing at least 1, sometimes even 2 of their members before they make it to top 4.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough though, and we've seen for a fact that some of the teams that really are going for survivability is the ones who keep their teammates up and running towards the end. But aggression versus survivability, well, EVOS, Rasia, 2 Buyas, yes, it's more gearing towards survivability, but with the elimination as well as the damage that they have brought in, I would say it's a mix of both. It's aggression from a distance that is helping EVOS, Divine, even Rasia put in all these numbers.
Hey, that's why the AC-80 so far is looking to be the most popular weapon to have alongside, whether it's a sniper rifle or a shotgun. It's just so stable and reliable. I mean, Rashi has been doing a lot of work. You can tell by his damage, 2 Buyas already achieved. He can apply a lot of pressure. And not to mention that he's been getting into some pretty close quarter combats as well, considering that his team needs to be relatively close for them to make all of their passive and actives really effective.
I love that they're gearing away from the usual tactic of 3-1 split and Rasia being left behind or being left far away from the rest. And it gives them more chances of going for the pickup, especially if Rasia is the one who's carrying the team. And that might be the case from the past, but this time around, it's not that Rasia who's doing so much work. We've seen AimGod, we've seen Coach Chill doing so much in those engagements and the CQCs that would help Rasia to have a little bit of breathing space as well as keep distance to make those snipes count. But I do agree, CQCs is looking quite prime for EVOS, but also for the other teams. One is WAG, who geared away from having X-Bore on a long range and put that responsibility to PLS1. And the moment they have that chance, especially in Kalahari, that they will need a double snipe setup, they can still make it work.
Yep, we've seen the double snipe setup actually work out before, especially for WAG, right? They're able to, hurt a lot of teams from afar, and more importantly, with their double snipe setup, it seems to me that they are able to kind of influence the map without really having to fully commit into peppering a squad. But with that being said, considering that we're already halfway through, it's time to get our hands a little sandy here. It's gonna get hot as we continue the second half of Week 2, Day 1 here in Kalahari.
Yeah, well, the sandy desert and the heat of the battle is about to begin. The flare flight path can give a lot of teams advantage, but let's take a look as where they will be dropping. And X-Pan, who might be going against not only a Pharaoh, but no, Pharaoh has already moved into Santa Catarina, but it's GOW who's heading into Stone Ridge. Now, two teams heading Stone Ridge is, I would say, not looking good for either team, but knowing that in the next week, they might be having Borem United part of the mix. So it might be three teams going against each other once that happened. But so far, GOW and Expand. GOW seems like, in paper, the stronger team. Now, there's a chance for Expand to really prove their worth.
Expand. They're running the Cassie this time round. They need to start attaching the electrotherapy to somebody. They need to regroup real quick. Seeing that Vault's in as well as Rama. Oh no, Vault's instantly getting picked off here. That's one less member that they're going to work with. Hans gets traded back instantaneously. Nicely done. Luki is just making sure that he's keeping his boys alive. Vault's, he's going to be able to get that revive real quick. WHE was facing off Kagendra off the screen, but Expand, now that they've kind of regrouped together, and even dropping the time turners. Great shots coming in from Rama. That should be able to close things out as Too Fast quickly ducks in, taking out traps, expecting a scout here by Stone Ridge.
Yeah, I mean, scout from TDK or Todak right now, who's trying to take advantage of the chaos that's happening between GOW and Expand. But it seems like Expand's winning the fight, and GOW as well has made a good run away from Todak. So they could have been taken down by this team, but good enough that one of the players from Todak has been taken down and traps will be revived. But Rip right now will be ripped out of this battle. There goes the Rebel Rush, but no! Rip with a Thompson! Rip awaits Noki, and as quickly as that has been revived. So not quite sure what the plan of Todak is right now, but it seems like them being spread out from sub to Stone Ridge is somewhat of a losing game that they're starting out. So hopefully in the future, we'll still see more of them regroup before they go for the engagement.
This is how the way that TDK likes to actually play out their early game, right? If they don't get no early engagements, they quickly look across the map to see whether or not their neighbors are going to be nearby, and then they don't mind spending the coins to actually bring back one or arguably even two members, especially since there's only two of them looting up everything. Now, we already see the picks starting to come through. WAG have a bit of split of their own, but they have to deal with Kagendra. Finally, PLS1 is able to take out easy for Raf. The other members, Cyrus, again, trying to make sure that they have a long spread into the zone itself, but they don't have any prime positions against Kagendra just yet.
Yep, no prime position, but the hook gun might be a great position taker for Cyrus. Bison in hand, trying to go up close and personal with Thumb. Oh, no, that was a Max 7. That is quite well in the CQC. That would bring Cyrus down. Now, we'll see if this will be a takedown on CT7, because I know with all those engagement can pull in the rest of Kagendra, but no, Kagendra is just pulling away, and CT7 will be left on his own. But despite of a knockdown against X4, the follow from PLS1 will knock him down, and the pickup can be done for WAG, or at least for one. But for Onyx right now, they are on the battle against PE Sports, but not quite sure if this is an overshoot of a reposition for Onyx, but this brings Onyx a little bit spread too thin.
I don't know about that. Expand ends up getting eliminated here. Kermix, I think he was looking for the potential lone member from PE Sports who's trying to anchor down from that southern side, right? Because you can see that Onyx, they're trying to get to the top roof here, and it's really, really dangerous, especially when you've got snipers peppering you at the same time. PE Sports, they're known to kind of just stick together and work as four, but Lao Ho is so far away with a pretty good angle, and even Flash getting involved in here, flying on over and finding their own picks. Putra, he's got to make this fast here as they give up the position on that top side. They might just bail out of the scenario.
Let's see though if PE Sports can bail out, because yes, they have a high ground, but being seen, being spotted, and having that vending machine out in the open as well might be the loss for PE Sports. Only Nolan remain right here, but there goes the shot, and Onyx Olympus trying to make do as well as make sure that PE Sports will not recover that quickly. Though they lost one player, they still have a lot of points and elimination on their hands already. But for Lao Ho, who is solo after reviving one of their teammates, might be meeting up with WAG, but he managed to get away, get into the ground, pulling away from this platform.
They have to quickly scope around. I don't think they saw Laoho, who's hiding directly underneath. But BTR finally take out members of Flash. They get the revive straight away, but now PR is taking on GOW. While this is happening on towards the sub. GOW, no time to breathe here. Cougar, he's trying his best. Oh no! It's just too much to handle here. PR take out the rest of GOW. No problem. How did Cougar just get to walk up for free here?
Well, I guess Hans was a little bit busy buying back his teammate, and well, he did manage to go for that revive, but to what loss? I mean, lost one player or two players from their side, but at least GOW, despite of how tough they have been taking it, not only for this map but also in the previous one, they're still surviving. So I love the fighting spirit coming from GOW, and with how they're placed in the leaderboard as well, I think they're not slowing down despite of all the challenges that they're meeting.
Information has been relayed. WAG are aware that Todak is within the vicinity. I'm not 100% sure where exactly, though. We currently only see three members of Todak, and Noki, already marked for death, reveals his position straight away. Really unfortunate, as the full fighting force of Todak is a little spread out towards refinery. We quickly jump over to Evil's Divine, chasing down Dian for GOW.
GOW has been in a rough start, and up until this moment in the first going to the second phase of Circle. But there's plenty of time, though. It just so happened that the flight path is fair, all bases are already covered, and there's a limited option for them. But I know there's still a few options that GOW can take, especially on those revive. But for the other teams right now, they need to move fast, because apart from Blue closing in, there's also a lot who's already going for the gatekeep. And this is Kagendra CT7 with that SVD, and the rest of the teams being on a hit list as well. This is Raz. He pulls away from where they were and now regroups. So more numbers to deal with whoever will be chasing them despite of being in a hit list.
Yep. Esports by Santa Catarina able to find Dian again after being revived by Akoy. At this point, they've just been chased all the way across the map, and I mean, PR, they're not going to let this go, right? They've already thrown out the UAV as well, despite being marked by Kagendra Zaraz. They don't really care about this, but it gives full information to GOW as to who is currently on their tail as they make their way into Stone Ridge. Laoho now getting peppered on the other hand. Is he left by himself? Does he have no other team members? It looks like he's all by himself, and Russia quickly takes him out.
Yeah, I mean, he has been taken out, Laoho, and it was a result of what happened earlier. Laoho was quite far from the rest of the team, but I don't think they have been taken out completely just yet. It's just that insurance policy, and after a revive, probably has managed to bring back the teammates. And we're seeing a few of those together with Team Falcons, but there's still a lot of risk involved. Pina tries to shoot down on Nero, but Nero a little too quick on that launch pad.
He heads towards the northern side, the furthest side from the ring at this point. He's going to try to find an entryway, some way, somehow. Limit, he doesn't mind. He's already taken the area. He doesn't mind being marked as well. 45 more seconds before it dissipates. They know that LBT is somewhere around, but they don't want to put them in a position where they trade 1 for 1. We do see that Russia getting attacked by everybody, even Falcon Dash being deployed by Kagendra as they're trying to make the run. They already find Rhea, and as well as Russia, the initiation is good as AimGod tanks through the damage as much as possible. AimGod holds off Russia, gets picked up by Coachil. They both go down as the Riptide Rhythms crash through. They cannot defend. That's Evil's Divine bowing out at 11th, and now Pharaoh wants to get involved, but the fight happened too quick. They back away.
And I love this move coming from Pharaoh right now. I know this team has the aggression on them, and I think that Hitlist on Raz has pulled in a lot that they can go in against. Now let's see though if this is something that that can be turned around by Kagendra at this point, especially in how they have performed from the previous game. But Pharaoh right now, 9 elimination already on the edge of circle, similar to what we're seeing for Team Falcons. But the same story, the same contender is in front of them. Team Falcons going against GOW. I know, I think GOW has studied the how Team Falcons are winning the battle, and they're trying to replicate it. But they're replicating it too much that they're ending with going against each other. In most cases, they're not.
So far, they traded 1-for-1. Deanne, does he manage to make it through? Deanne ends up getting knocked down by the enemy skill. That's unfortunate. And that is going to be the rest of the members getting blasted through. Hans. Oh man, he's all by himself. His frontliners all end up going down despite trading 1-for-1 initially on the knockdowns.
Yeah, all by myself. I know it's out of tune, but that is what Hans is feeling right now. And there you have it. Kiroro for the final nail in the coffin against GOW. I know they're high on the leaderboard right now, but this would be a loss for them, especially those taking them out are #1 squad. Now, Team Falcons has managed to get a lot more in terms of elimination, but they need to move fast because the blue is closing in. But for BTR, 7 elimination, and we haven't seen them mostly on a CQC, and that is with the help of Koja as well as Dix, and also one more player on that AWM. So the long range on the 3 players does help a squad get a few more of points, especially Kalahari.
So far, high ground being currently owned by PR at this point. We see on the northern side, the Falcons, not a lot of space to actually move. They can go through low ground and hide through the ridges to get towards that top side, but they know that Kagendra is not too far away. However, PR are the ones who take the initiation. They're lobbing nades to take the space. They want that high ground. They want this ridge. And as Falcons drop a glue wall of their own, they're looking up to try and blow them off the spot. Now, Limit, he's got a very far angle here, and they're waiting for a movement. PR looked like they were just faking it for the most part, as the next ring is going to start revealing itself real soon.
Oh, there you have it, and it is on the side of Kagendra. But Kagendra has been waiting for this battle to ensue for quite some time. So the moment that PR or Team Falcons manage to take down each other, I guess that is where Kagendra steps in, or probably steps out of the current circle and try to get as much elimination as possible. But for those close behind, it is WAG as well as Onyx Olympus. Only 2 eliminations from WAG. Doesn't look too promising, but I guess this is how they are trying to play this out. A little bit more passiveness, despite of the firepower that they have with PLS1 and X4 combined on the long range. So this is questionable for me, especially looking at WAG with not so much of elimination, but going back to what we've seen, PR and Falcons going against each other, and it's Kagendra taking advantage.
Yep, Kagendra has a power position, jump put down low, but On Fire is already down on his knees. Limit is already making a run for the inner side of the circle to hold out for as long as possible on that low ground, but the rest of his teams fight out. Kiroro finally falls. Same goes for Pina here, as Kage. They haven't really intervened as much as I thought they would at this point. Now, PR starts taking the space, and Limit is trying to out-heal it while he hides behind cover. And at this point, with the rest of the northern teams starting to dwindle down, BTR alongside Kagendra are the big benefactors, as plenty of elimination points are falling into their hands. Dix finds another one in WAG, but Faiz finds the shot onto PR. I'm guessing that Torak is on the southern side of that map. Yep. This eastern side is getting very, very packed.
Oh, definitely. I mean, a lot, especially at blue closing in, and Team Falcons will be taken down. Kagendra, no, feeling the wrath of PE Sports. They've stayed here for quite some time, and only CT7 would be left. And PE Sports with a full squad, they need to run because the blue's closing in, but a 1v1's happening on the other side, and LBT. No love but hate against those trying to take them down. And they managed to survive with a full squad, even Onyx Olympus. How silent they are, they have been spotted because of the open area that Kalahari has to open.
And that is just revenge for them. Kagendra, they took them out last week in the same fashion, right? PE, they were all stuck as 4, but they flushed them out real quick. But now, they fell into PE's trap, having 4 people on the swing. Not exactly ideal when you're looking for an isolated target. WAG, they have to start making a move eventually, but BTR are holding them hostage here. They're using the grapple hooks, but they don't cover their backs, and unfortunately, PSL1 and Cyrus take the brunt of the damage because of it. They thought they walked away with no tax, but BTR says, no, we're coming for you. You have to pay it up. PR, the next to fall. As we see Tikwe, he manages to get Tix on the way out. They've taken enough damage here, but they also hurt BTR.
And WHE has a good chance to go for the backstab against Kyung right now. There goes the Ripside Rhythm, but it is coming from Team Flash. Decoy would be hit with the Drogon coming from Kyung, and Kyung will be running in. Not quite sure unscathed, but he will be knocked down because of the blue. Now, Koja and Juan try and survive a duo that would be deadly in this fight, especially distraction is happening on the side of PE Sports, and Todak for the pickup after a knockdown is being done by PE Sports quite well as Nolan provides the distraction. Only Videls remain for Zodak, and PE Sports is still a full squad who might be battling against Team Flash, but no! Wang Am managed to take down Nero and confirm that. So it's a 3v4v1 situation, and Todak's losing end.
So close for PE Esports to actually recover from the damage. Now Valiant Dash has already been used to get a deep cut on this northern side. Flash have to take them on 4v4 as Hwangam goes into above and beyond. They take them all out in one fell swoop. It wasn't even close there. What a move coming in from Hwangam.
Well, Team Flash, we know that they are an aggressive team. It's a good thing that they pulled it off in this final moment. And Team Flash grabbing their second booyah for the knockout stage. And I guess with the placement on the 13th place that they have before this game has started, this would move them up a little bit closer to a safety spot, especially by the end of this week.
Oh man, finally, second half of the rotations of maps, and we see that Flash really have gotten off the rust. They're ready to Clash Squad. I don't know. PE Sports winning out their Clash Squad of their own, and then Flash. Oh my goodness. That was such a nasty move, going above their heads to make set up this play.
Yeah, it's tough though. I mean, for Todak, I know they went in for survivability, a little bit of aggression as well earlier on before only one remained. But Team Flash, not only did they deal with a lot of teams, especially in the final circle, but they've dealt with it from a distance, keeping themselves safe. So this makes a team love each other, and they are showing that respect. Their opponents are the great motivator for them to improve. So I love hearing that or reading that from two players from different teams.
That or Free Fire censorship team is doing a really good job. One or the other. I would love to believe that these teams are extremely respectful, but we've seen them trash talk before, so I'll put a little salt on that. Put a little pinch of salt on these statements overall. But the general consensus is very clear, right? Again, yes, there is respect, but it's also very different outlooks on what the game is, or they think the game should be played at this very moment, right? And I think that with Evol's Divine, obviously survival time is definitely important, but would I say they are the most aggressive team based on what we've seen for these past 2 weeks? I would say no, they're not. They actually have a very resource-oriented style of playing. When they have resources to work with, that's when they can make aggressive plays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's a good strategy as well. That's the reason why they won Esports World Cup. It's because of their working with what they have in terms of resource. So let's see now if this is where they continue the story of that aggression as well as resource gameplay, because Nextera is already in front of us, and this is the future of Free Fire. As we look at the flight path, I'm smiling, almost smiling, because it's skewed. I thought it was skewed even more, but I guess Free Fire doesn't want that to happen once again for today.
Hey, we're making up for lost time here. The scriptwriters are like, no, we are following the show flow. We gotta keep it, we gotta fulfill the space and time. Map 1 was too fast, so we'll make it up with the rest of them. Even flight path overall, but it always goes over Intellect Center. And that's where we're going to see Expand and BTR duke it out a little bit. But now Toraka drops down by Zipway. I'm curious to see if they're going to send another scout, because they usually do that. They send out their twos to go out, search around the neighborhood to see if they can third anybody and get a free couple of eliminations in the process.
Let's see though. I mean, it's a little bit too early to tell, but a lot of weaponry is being taken right now. Expand though, despite of having a compound, I don't think they have the weapon to go against. When one takes down walls, and Koja right now, a lot of pressure, but it's Kyung who finished off Rama, and Luki, who's out of the picture in Intellect Center, managed to bring back at least one of their teammates. So there's still hope for X-Men. They're not out just yet, but for WAG, I know a lot of pressure are on them. But Onyx Olympus, I guess the passive gameplay from Onyx Olympus can be there. I would say they are later on. But with JOW going against Todak, a lot of engagement has been happening overall. We're not seeing a team being wiped out just yet.
Everybody's still alive for the time being as WAG face off against Onyx. Now that they have their full fighting force to kind of cover their boy here, they should be able... Wait, hold on. They see Crimex here actually trying to make the flank open and they trade each other. What a shot from Crimex, despite getting Cassian as well as Zyro the next to fall with the help of Cyrus covering. Now, they do know that Putra is on the opposite side. They get the revive down. I'm surprised that T-Cray didn't immediately use a med pack straight off the rip, or maybe he doesn't actually have one on hand. It is a pretty early fight here.
Oh, yeah.
But now, Putra, he's quickly dropping down. The Riptide Rhythm has already been laid on the ground, but it's too late. It's just too much firepower from WAG.
And speaking of firepower, I mean, early engagement with, if you have the plasma gun, it gives a lot of on that firepower, especially the fire rate. But it's wraps right now. Trogon in hand. Akoi would be taken down, and two more in target. DN will try to go in for that revive with a vending machine, but didn't get too close. And Noki putting a lot of pressure now. Faiz on the other side, even despite of the jump, he might be taken down, but no, DN managed to survive, and it was Faiz! I call that right, from afar. That is the great position for a sniper to do so, despite of all the chaos that's happening on ground.
Speaking of chaos, right, we go into another engagement. It is going to be Kagendra facing off against P Esports. P Esports, unfortunately, on the losing end of this, as Kagendra are able to bring back their members, and even the contract has been deployed to chase them out. They're going to be looking for every single one of the members of P Esports.
Let's see, though, if P Esports can bring back one of the teammates, but for Adam, out in the open. It's A, B, C, D, putting in 1 out of the 1, 2, 3. And let's see if they can continue on. But for Onyx Olympus right now, well, Deca Square, a good spot for them to recover. But with 1 being left behind, Zaru will be taken down. Now Kagendra putting pressure on Nero. And we're not seeing so much of the rest of the teammate for PE Sports. It is only Lao Ho, though, and Oversight he's quite far. So if this is a bait and switch gameplay or situation that's being played by Nero right now, it's a little risky, but because up close and personal, easy for Raph. Well, not that easy to be taken down.
Oh, I mean, the first shot connects from the side of Nero, but it doesn't get any more. Second shot takes out too easy for Raph. It's as if he forgets, and then the Valiant dash to break through the glue walls. Nero finally goes down. A little frustrating for Kagendra for sure, but PE Sports, they're not done with their meddling ways just yet. Luckily, there is a vending machine nearby to bring back their boys. Onyx, oh, okay. Onyx kind of split here. They did get their initial revive right next to a PE Sports member, to be fair. But now, where do they look to regroup? And it looks like they're heading towards the southwestern side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's smart for Onyx Olympus right now, so they're still playing to their strengths, survivability, as well as getting away from everyone. But compared to Pharaoh as well as BTR, these teams has been aggressive, not only for this competition, but even in the past, and they paid dividends on that. Most of the time, they're the first team to be taken down. Now they're taking each other out. Jump will not be jumping on. His legs has been cut. And for BTR, 2, make that 3, make that full squad will be taken down. So that's paying forward to what you did to jump right there, and that gives them a little bit of headway in terms of points.
Honestly, beautifully played. Beautifully played coming in from PR, right? Because again, they send Jump out in a bit of an off angle, make BTR, who seem to be over-aggressing a lot of the times, on out of position or slightly out of position players, sending 2, maybe even 3 members sometime, bait them out. And considering that they weren't using the Cassie, there's no way to know where the second person is going to be, and they put them in a pincer, sorry, not a pincer, but a crossfire angle for the rest of the team. So nicely played, but WAG's got bigger problems to deal with, and that's Flash right back inside a compound that happens to have a court. Feels like Deja Vu, but with a different name.
Yeah, Deja Vu indeed. I mean, the bells about to ring. Boxing Gym is will be starting to KO a few, if not a couple of players. We're seeing a team being taken down as well. Like completely missed that because of what's happening between WAG as well as Team Flash. But Team Flash doesn't want anything to do with WAG right now, so they get away and manage to survive and not even losing any HP. But for Evo's fine right now, they are getting away from Expand and heading in onto the other side of Mudside, just to make sure that they still have the edge of the circle.
They still have the edge of the circle, but they gotta shake off Expand somehow, right? Because they're still on a recovery. They're still on the recovery, right? They don't have full loadouts to fight just yet, and one of their members still looking to regroup. Todak now having a face-off against Team Flash from Boxing Gym, just from one competitor to another. We'll see how Noki plays this out, because the splash damage seems to be good, but WAG in the distance. The Time Turner does initially come in, but Vidal's already finds one into ABCD. They get a second one as well. Even with a launcher, Flash unable to make it. Booyah Curse still in effect.
Yeah, the Booyah Curse is there. They grab the Booyah and they will be taken down. Well, not too early though, but I would say Team Flash could have survived a little bit longer. But Todak right now is just being aggressive. I know that they started week 1 on a high note, and now they want to get a few more, probably a Booyah, because out of those in the top 12, Todak's the only one who doesn't have a Booyah, but they are currently on 9th place. So survivability and elimination, is making it work for them, but not for the final circle. So I would love them to survive a little bit longer, but WAG says, stop it, Neptune. We don't want them to do so.
Yeah, I just noticed that Ray, he's running the same loadout, but he's making sure that his active skill card is going to be that Valiant Dash. So they actually are running 2 Valiant Dashes on their side. Cougar, even greedier, decides to have both the Valiant Dash and the Rebel Rush, trying to make plays by himself. Don, wait, he gets picked off from so far away. Where did he get shot from? Diane manages to clip him. They quickly go into defensive positions in the blue, right by Museum. Do they really want to chase Diane, though? Yeah, apparently they do.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess this is the reason why they're bringing in Rebel Rush as well as Valiant Dash, so that they can easily go in and out. And good distraction by jumping in, and Sensi takes the shot against Dion. But Akoy says, all right, you've done enough already. You've stayed outside of blue, and I'm going to bring you back. Hopefully, you stay with the group and don't stray away.
Oh no. Boxing gym is starting to get very populated here, with the boxing gym itself, the main compound, being controlled on the outside by WAG. Evo's Divine very nearby, Torak on the outskirts of it, and north of them, actually directly across the street, it's going to be Expand. We'll see whether or not, because Torak currently the elimination leaders so far. We'll see whether or not they're going to eliminate Expand like they did in the past 2 maps, maps 1 and 2. Falcons, they've been very passive. 2 eliminations, they're taking their time here. And not to mention that they've switched out Peter over on Fire for this round.
Yeah, I mean, let's see Peter back into play. It's been, I would say, ages since we've seen Peter, but I mean, we'll have to see though. They're still going in for the passive play. They want to go for survivability, find that final circle, and then that's where they start off with elimination. But it would be tough, especially at this moment, close to 10 minutes. We still have 9 teams remaining. But this is much better compared to earlier, because I think we were on the 4th, maybe 5th, and we still have 11. And once chaos ensues, even the team, or most tactical team like Team Falcons, are being caught off guard, and they are dying down a little bit too early than expected. So, well, we'll have to find out right now, because the blue closing in 15 seconds, and it just happened to show that next phase of the circle. And WAG seems to be a safe spot, but not for Onyx Olympus, because Pharaoh would be right next on them.
They're gonna have to take their time here, but it looks like Onyx, they want to find a spot in the ring as soon as possible. I'm not sure whether everybody has got prime loadouts. I mean, their armors are looking good. Helmet, just a level down from 3. But we look at EVOS, they always have prime weapons. They always have prime equipment and a lot of resources to work for them. They're right smack in the middle of this current ring, as we see that Falcons now having to engage against GOW actually bypasses them to find their own building to block off their line of sight. Good play coming in from the Falcons to stop the gatekeep from GOW. Oh. And the nade from Keroro knocks Dion.
Yeah, a God nade from Keroro, and a follow-up with an M79. And this is the rush that Pina has been waiting for, the knockdown that would bring them closing down against GLW. Pickup will now happen, and Pina will just bring a hammer down against GLW. And tough luck for GOW. They have a good spot. They could have taken down Team Falcons a little bit too early, but they waited. And we were thinking that Team Falcons will be waiting as well. If it wasn't for that God nade from Keroro, that battle won't ensue as early as that.
Yeah, it also helps that you've got Pina playing out of his mind right now. Aggressive, so effective with this Valiant Dash. Oh my goodness. Now, we see that the number of squads still alive is rather astounding now that the southern side is actually pretty open for anybody, but nobody wants to take it because they all have a building of their own. Expand as well as P Esports are directly next to each other, while Torak as well as Evo's Divine hold them hostage across the street. While Falcons, they can own 2 buildings, they completely dominate the north side of Boxing Gym.
That is one thing, though. I mean, earlier we've seen binoculars being used, and they spot Team Falcons, and now PE Sports has been spotted as well. So either way, whoever uses the binocular is trying to find a space that would potentially be the next phase of the circle, and this is what's happening right now. 6 teams remaining on where the next circle is, or next safe zone is, and this is what they need to worry about or to work with. If they can survive crossing towards that on the west side of Boxing Gym, and go against the 6 players, they might get that booyah. But for WAG, they need to deal with Pharaoh first. They lost PLS1 already, but Decoy will not be slowing down. But Xbor managed to take himself out after taking down taking out Jump at this point. And with that, WAG has lost the fight against Pharaoh.
Yeah. Oh, nice stuff. Nice stuff. Unfortunately, Tikori didn't get a reset on that dash, unfortunately, to do it again. But at that point, he tried his best. He tried to block off, tried to go for the revive. He just get cornered in too quickly. Now, Evos Divine alongside with Onyx have gotten into a bit of a scuffle, but they leaped in very early on. Riptide Rhythm has already been thrown in. I'm pretty sure somebody just threw an A1 at them. Not sure who did it exactly. I'm going to assume it's Evos, but there's a chance that it could have been straight up PE.
Yeah, it looks like. But PE Sports, very close to Onyx Olympus. Even Crime has peaked already on PE Sports, but that didn't make a move. So not quite sure what the play is. Onyx Olympus might be a loss later on because there's a lot of teams already jumping in. But speaking of lot, 3 levels of teams would be in here near to Evos, Todak, as well as Pharaoh, and well, Team Falcons would be at a feast right now if they can manage to take down all 12 players.
Yep, they take the outside compound, but stay on the bottom floor. They nade spam in, position themselves wherever they want to, because they know that the main entrance to the bottom floor has been blocked off by 2 glue walls and is guarded by Aim God. Todak is in the 2nd floor, and on the roof we have Cougar, Zensis, and as well as Dawn holding out for their lives as Falcons is waiting for anybody to walk out of this anthill. While on the opposite end, hold on, Onyx is taking on PE Sports, finally making a move after so long. They get the initial drop on them, and Expand they try, but unfortunately PE stands on top. No eliminations for Onyx whatsoever as Expand now gets involved. Hearing the commotion going on, LPT forced to give up his teammates. He ends up dying regardless. What a move!
Props to Expand. I mean, taking advantage of that situation and getting 3 eliminations, surviving, but for how long? Because they're very close to Evos right now, and well, Evos being taken down little by little by those from afar. It is Team Pharaoh, so that can give an opening for Expand to go with the shift up the circle. But it will be tough though, because Pharaoh's already taken the lead. Team Falcons on the back end, but Limit will be taken down by Noki. Kuroro fights back against Videls, and it seems like Team Falcons and Todak is trying to go head on against each other, and it is Todak who's surviving.
Oh no, Traps, he ended up getting knocked out due to the blue, and Peter is walking up behind Noki, pops one in the back of his head, and now quickly jumps to the other side. Fies locks himself out with the help of glue walls. A quick 360 of his own as PR, looking to get onto the high ground on top of the hill. Riptide Rhythm opens it wide open. Asha is able to take out Falcons as Falcons get eliminated first. Toda, the next to fall. Wait a minute, is Evo still around? No, they finally been eliminated. It's a 3v3, Pharaohs versus Expand.
Oh, see though, I mean, it's a 3v3 situation, but in terms of being able to outsmart Pharaoh, let's see if Expand can go head on with 3 players. But no, Cougar, backstab might be happening, and there goes Loki with the Bison. Now they regroup. Sensi, the only one remaining, as well as Dawn, but Loki is a little too quick on that SMG, and it seems like Expand can bring the booyah, but no, Rama has been taken down. The pickup has been done with that heal gun. Sensi is now at a loss. Will need to go with that play with an AWM up close and personal, and Loki might be able to do it with a sliver of health. Sensi still surviving.
Where did Vaults go? Did he get knocked off? I'm pretty sure he accidentally fell, but luckily Loki, he stayed alive, held it until the very end, and closed things out for Expand. They get a booyah here. Week 2, day number 1.
Oh, finally we are seeing a light of hope, not only from Todak, but also from Expand right now. Currently on 7th place before this match started. This can bring them up a little bit higher, but in terms of how much they need to cross 12th place, they need a lot. 54 points before this game, this map started. So hopefully this is a good way for them to earn that, but it's tough. It's tough to say that they will be getting 12th place after this game. They will move up probably 14th place But I want to see more from X-Man. I want to see more of this aggression in the final circle, as well as survivability in the earlier part.
Hey, that's just sometimes how the dominoes look to tumble, right? They took advantage of the scenarios. They were the very last team to get... See soon where the overall standings is going to lead us and how many points they actually accumulated by the end of it, because there were a lot of small fights happening all across the map.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talking about small fights, it's more of Pharaohs winning most of it, and as well as Toda. He can get a shot from distance, and the follow through is being done quite well by the rest of the team. And for Evo's Divine, we would love to see more of this for this week. Not just for this day, because I know they were left a little low after week 1, but this is a chance for them to bring themselves a little bit higher. Now, against them, or another preview on the team performance, is WHE, currently in 4th with, well, Tikui leading the fray. He's not a sniper. He's just a CQC god for WHE, who's walking amongst God, and that's the meaning of WHE. Xmore follows with 25, Cyrus with 16, and Pilus1 on 15. Now, this might be a contrast on what we've seen Xmore has done on the sniper, but PLS1 is only new to the team, and so far he's doing quite well in terms of chemistry, as well as bringing what is needed from a sniper. But we'll have to see more from this guy, just make sure that we can say that acquisition as well as the switch in terms of role will be beneficial for WAJ.
Yeah, in the long run, it's always going to be important to be able to play beyond the scope of your job. That way, it not only gives you understanding, but it also expands the toolbox, the arsenal of tactics that your team has access to. I know you've been already talking a lot about PLS1 as well as Tikoi, but man, Tikoi, I was wondering about whether or not they want to mainline him, and so far, it is so worth it. This kid is nasty with it. He is enabling WAG to be a forward pushing team, right? Of a momentum-based team to a certain degree. We haven't seen them like ram through multiple teams just yet, but considering the performance of Tikoi to try and clutch these scenarios, it wouldn't be too surprising if they led that way. With that being said, we are going to our final map, the classic, the place that you don't want to get lost in on your vacations. We make our way into our very last game. Welcome everybody to Bermuda.
Yeah, the green grass of Bermuda will get you lost, not only into jungles, but also all those fight that will be ensuing. But the flight path will be a little bit fair right now from Graveyard to Sentosa, but we're seeing a little bit of heat that might be happening in Graveyard, and the only question is, who's going to be buried? Whether it's BTR, Team Falcons, or probably Evos, who's quite close against each other. But other parts of the map, it is just quite fair as well. A few of the potential hot drop might be happening, but this is Bermuda. So OG map, OG gameplay, or OG ways of getting in and out of battle might be happening.
Oh yeah. Let's see. This first engagement between Onyx as well as Flash, right? The spread of Flash seems to be good, but it looks like Onyx has got them into a pincer maneuver. The only problem is there's a little bit. These ones need to be won out by Flash if they want to stand a chance. Putra already finds one. And wait, did I just see BTR just fly in from the north side of Hangar?
It seems like it. It seems like it. They want to be that aggressive team once again. And well, most of the team, they play on the edge of the circle. And now that they know that where the circle is, they will be looting up and then positioning themselves close to that. And I think Onyx Olympus has been beat in taking that compound, and BTR will just stay in there, pushing even Putra far away. Adam has the same thing going for them. So they've left Rimnam Village and might be going in a different approach this time. But for BTR, the Falcon Hunters will be meeting up against the Falcons themselves, and Limit will be the first one going down. And against that AC-80, that MAC-10, well, questionable on how that worked, but I love that they're making it work.
A high rate of fire, and then it just happened to catch out Limit in wrong place, wrong time. He couldn't respond to it with how fast that gun shoots sometimes. But on the opposite end, BTR is not done. They're still looking for remaining members of Flash, or even if Onyx was nearby, but it looks like they're finally making the call. Whoop. They're out of there. Ooh, shot out of the sky. Dix is going to hit the ground.
Oh yeah, Guerrero on his second elimination already, and might be seeing the third, but Pina... AWM, we seldom see a full squad right here on a marksman or a marksman or a sniper, especially for Team Falcons, but they're trying to make it work, especially in the early parts of this game. They want to get more engagement, more elimination, and trying to catch them off guard. It's Peter with SVD who goes for a long flank, and Pina was just a distraction, as he always is.
Yeah, Pina, he's been doing very, very well with the squad. He's integrated very nicely, but now we look at Pochnock. Oh, can he get out in time? PLS1 makes the launch but regroups with the rest of his team before getting knocked out. They know where Todak is coming from the northern side of Mars Electric. How are they going to set the battle lines? It looks like nobody has much... Oh, does anybody have verticality? Yes, there's a little bit of verticality that they can work with, but some of these pillars are really large and they can breach the perimeter. Puthra goes down. Keroro finds him. Clean shots from the side of Falcons.
What was Putra like doing? No, not even a glue wall, not even a fire bag against Guerrero, and he was standing there for a couple of seconds. But well, it is what it is, especially if you're focusing just trying to get into one direction or probably looking at the map. So let's see though, that is something that they can be fixing, that they can fix later on. But for WAG, feeling the wrath of Todak, who's leading the day in terms of points, and next board has been taken down. Here comes Tikui, 1v2 situation. Nay, let's see if it will work. No, they go for the other side, and rather Tikui would be taken down by Videls in that Trogon. PLS1 trying to get away together with Cyrus, but I think PLS1 is the next one to go out. A little bit too far though on that latch point, but no, still managed to make it.
But why? Wait, they do have pocket marks to work with. They can actually... Do they have enough resources? Oh, I forgot to check because they're getting trapped down by Traps himself. The Riptide Rhythm comes down to block his initial pathway upwards. He's got to come in there honest and clean. Cyrus, he's going to hide, leaving PLS1 to do the dirty work. AWM in hand. He tries. He's put him down to half HP, but the healing UAV is going to make it even tougher as Cyrus hits the deck. He's got to swim away. Swim away. Fly. But... wait, he's getting shot down. He's eventually going to go down. They've got two angles on him. Cyrus, this... not much you can really do about this.
Yeah, I mean, not quite sure about the decision, but probably it's because there's not so much that he can do. He's trying to get away, but he's at the edge of this island, and he just wants to get away from Todak, probably praying that he will be left alone, but Todak says, no. We're number one for today, and we want to stick to that. Now, 5 eliminations already on them. Looking good for Todak right now, despite of not getting a booyah in the knockout stage. Now, we are looking at the Pharaoh team that has been aggressive all throughout. Cougar has been taken down already, but there goes the takedown as well against one player up, Kagendra. And despite of only on a 2v2 situation, Raz right now is going in for a fight. Sensi has been picked up and is now recovering, but no, will be backstabbed. No other than the double revolver.
Oh, that's got to feel a little bad here. Akimbo revolvers, a Mach 10, and 1 Trogon was all it took. They had prime weaponry from the side of PR. They've been looting so good and now forced to reset. Now Mars Electric has been a hot spot. Todak was the one chasing WAG all the way down to the southern side of the map, but we do see just east of them, Cyru, he's slowly walking up with Puthra. They want to get in on this action by Mars Electric. They want to make sure that their backs are clear and they're willing to do anything to get it because they hear the shots coming down from Death's side on towards Videls goes down as Todak tries to push in towards the Zom. He's trying to make it through. The Riptide Rhythms finally start to come out, and that should be it. Todak losing a majority of their front line already. Their last member booking it all the way towards the northwestern side, leaping to live, trying to be the insurance policy. But the fight is not over. Expanded as well as Onyx Olympus are lurking on the outside of Mars Electric.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, Team Flash, I know they got a buoy already earlier, but they lost out on the curse from the previous map. Now, there's a chance for them to really recover and put in a few numbers more if they can take out Expand. Because Todak, yes, they get the 3 points already from that, but Aurora Vision, just to make sure that Team Flash will not get away from sights of Expand, but they need to keep distance. It only runs for a few seconds, and if they can let that Aurora Vision die, then they can pull a surprise hit against Expand, especially on how they are positioned. So, great position from Wang M right now, but it seems like two players from Onyx might put him down, and they didn't expect this to happen.
Flash, they took the remaining launch pad to get at least one of their members out of there. It's a 3-in-1 split so far, as the frontline members need to get onto the outer ring of Mars Electric. Adam, he sees all of this going down. He sees the members of Flash rotating out of there. He's got to communicate with the rest of the members before Expand collapse, but it's too late. Expand quickly jumping onto the Onyx Olympus members. Hwangam finds Too Fast, takes him out, and they might just turn around on this now that they've got the outer perimeter, and the Bax's Kremix K is the next to fall. This one rotation from the 3 members of Flash is paying dividend as they even find Rama.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a good thing that Wang M managed to pull away from Onyx Olympus. It gives an opening for Expand to be taken out by the remaining 3 players. Now, it's Expand Vaults who's trying to waltz away from this fight, but I guess he managed to get away though, and the Blues closing in. 8 elimination from Team Flash is doing them wonders at this point, but Expand will be taken down from the hands of Cyru of Onyx Olympus, and I thought Onyx already out of that game, out of that area, but no, they hang back just to make sure that they can still have overview on where the opponents are. Down to 10 teams remaining, WAG as well as Expand already out, and we might be seeing a battle between PE Sports as well as Evos and GOW. The only question is who will be going down first.
Not sure. Clock Tower is a difficult plane to play around. You want to control that center, but at the same time, there's just too much around in the area to control absolutely everything. Usually, you'll have one other team contesting and then a one looking to third, but at this point, it's based off of sounds, right? We have GOW not too far away from EVOS, but on the lower side of things is where we see PE Sports just lurking and looking for angles in the underground.
Yeah, they took the tunnel. They went in a reposition, and they're out of sight. Unless a coda will be popped, then that's the only time they will be in visual for Aim God. But Aim God a little bit too far from the rest of the teams, though. But this is a good position as well if you want to get that information. And if you're in the middle of everyone else, then that's where that coda, that Aurora Vision would be very useful. But I love that I'm seeing the map right now, and we'll see where the next phase circle is. But the one's in trouble is Pharaoh, who's quite far out of blue and still further into the next phase of the circle.
Yep, it's still centering around the south side of, well, actually the encompassing the entire area of Clock Tower, if I'm being perfectly honest. North side being taken by the Falcons here as they found a compound of their own to play around. Problem is that they have to clear it, right? They gotta clear it together. They're not 100% sure about the positions of everybody just yet. They know where EVOS was because they were on the upper ledge of it, but now we see BTR also coming in real quick. Limit misses, chipping just the neck of one of the members of BTR.
Limit's not waiting. I mean, the moment he sees someone drop in, he takes a shot and manages to hit it. It's just not a headshot to knock him down. And it's tough, though. Even if you go for a knockdown, you won't be able to confirm it. So it's just a waste of time as well. Well, not waste of stats, but it puts so much pressure on BTR right now to really rush against them. But the pressure is more on EVOS as well as GOW because they are stacked against each other and very, very close, and everyone else will be rushing in there. We've seen BTR done that. Launchpad can easily bring them to that area of Clock Tower, and there's not so much of hiding spot that you can use in this compound.
Honestly, I could also say the same about Falcons as well as PE Esports because they're controlling the two ends of the tunnels. Wait, hold on. Kagendra coming in from the north sides, right on top of the Falcons, forcing the Falcons to make a decision: go in or take the fight. They lob the nades first, and Kiroro finds it again, finding an initial pick, forcing Kagendra to retreat. They go into the second form and lock themselves in there. Falcons stave off the initial fight for now.
Great gameplay though. I mean, the knockdown gives them more time as well as put Kagendra in a difficult position because if the Blue Wolves will be taken down, then the other teams surrounding them are the ones taking lead. But Onyx Olympus will now be waiting against Pharaoh, and they want taken down. Even Crime has brought in the monster truck. Despite the bush truck being knocked down, it seems like Cougar will not be surviving that much. But no, Cougar is still fighting back, but finally has been taken out. But it is Adam who will be paying for the prize, and I guess the rest of the teams as well, receiving a lot of damage, but Kagendra will be taken down on 10. And Team Falcons, they got here in Clock Tower with 0 elimination. Now they have 7.
Yep, and now they can start snowballing this out of control. They know the next exposed target who has to make the hard rotation is BTR, who's literally right next to them, forcing into what I hope they know is PE Esports, who's been controlling the end, and they're already in full engagement. Pina, he's gonna call the rest of the team to get involved here. Even Evol's Divine is thinking about it as well. But for now, BTR must fight off LBT. He's going to hold off on his own, but Dix is the first one to fall. Juan takes back onto LBT and finds the elimination as well. BTR control the area, but Nolan, he's got nothing left. No way to break these glue walls, and he gets pincered in by Kyung.
Yeah, Nolan has no one to play with at this point. Only one remains though for PE Sports, Lao Ho, who's quite far, and in a few seconds will be taken by the Blue. So there's a huge risk in there, especially Lao Ho will be spotted by Picatron Esports. And there you have it, Koja, M79 grenade launcher taking him out. Onyx Olympus now trying to survive a 1v2 situation in the rooftop, but good thing that Sensi managed to recover. It's a huge chance that he can go for the clutch, but no, Sensi says, nah, I won't be staying that long. Into the hands of Wang M, and Team Flash and Pharaoh.
Alright, and finally the game ping pong is over. PR gets eliminated, but at what cost? Onyx have taken so much damage, and Kremix K, he's got to make it up with his mini. Putra gets headshot by Torak's members, and now we see the Falcons on the high ground against Evol's Divine as they're trying to take that space away. Dropping down, ooh, even the Valiant Dash will break into the Lord's limit. Garo, he needs to find at least one trade into Rashia's side, who's put down to 1 HP, but it's too late. Garo tries, can he pick up limit? Rashia, he's taking damage, but the rest come out, they swing. Kiroro dies, and Pina left all by himself. Valiant Dash as well to try and lock them out, finally finds his demise. That's why Evos wants to stay as 4, closely knitted together as they work on their opponents.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's only 4 elimination coming from them. If they can take advantage of all position from opponent like BTR, even Todak, even Team Flash, then that's where they can stack up on those points. But it seems like a lot of pressure coming in from all sides, or from 2 sides though. Team Flash and as well as Todak, as well as Crime from above. So Evo right now, only Aim God remains. The glue wall can save him, but they don't have that much. And BTR though, the first team to be taken out, Team Flash will be heading in. 12 elimination already, and might be getting another 12 in the Booyah.
It's getting very close. Onyx of 1 remaining member. Evos have 3. They managed to bring back up to his feet. But Onyx, there's nothing much they can do. It's up to Flash and Torak to influence this map. So far, Torak don't have to make any major movements as they still control the few remaining pieces of natural cover that the map has to offer. It's about to close in, but it's still enough play area for them to get shots through, and just enough to hide behind to heal. Now, Evol's Divine trying to figure out how to play this out. They're forced to move it. They want Torak's position. They're slowly making their way. The Riptide Rhythm is on the far end, but it's too late. Evos are already committed into griefing Torak. Torak want to position themselves to allow Flash to get free shots, and it does so perfectly. Ray, the first to go down. Cochil next to fall as we see the rest of Evol's Divine down. It's a 4v4. It's time to Clash Squad.
At Clash Squad right now, 2v2 on one side, 2v3 on one side, and Noki goes down. There goes Traps for the rush, and let's see if he'll be able to get a lot of charge on the Charge Buster, but no! It is Team Flash for another Booyah in this game. 2 Booyahs in a day, and Team Flash is in a great comeback for this week. The only question is, has they brought themselves a little bit higher leaderboard, probably closer to getting the top 12 by the end of the week?
It was so necessary for Team Flash. It's great to see live scrims for Clash Squad right at the very end, where the stakes are high, just as much pressure like a tournament, the best kind of practice you can get, and it's really coming to fruition here. Flash, they are just taking them out. I don't know, man, because it all started with this initial pick, right? Now, wait for it. You'll see it in the death feed. Hwangam finds Loki right in the face, and that opens up so many opportunities for Zom and as well as Death to slowly plow through the glue walls.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Team Flash, Todak, Final Circle. I would say for Todak, I love how they're showing up right now. Despite of not getting any booyahs all throughout the knockout stage. And yes, no booyahs just yet compared to what? 12, 13, 14 teams. Or was it 14? 14 teams who already have a booyah. 13 teams already have the booyah. Todak is part of the top 12 who still doesn't have any booyah. So I'm loving how the storyline is going, but this is something that you need to change, especially once you get to the grand finals, because we know for a fact that booyahs are that important that you would need to find a final circle even without any elimination.
It's so true. It's so true. You need to have some form of closing power, and that's what all squads need to think about, especially with the Champion Rush format, right? I mean, it was a little different during EWC where there was Point Rush and then Champion Rush, but even then, how much of a difference did it make compared to those teams who had some form of closing power to get to the very end? These consistency of the points is great to see from the side of Todak, but there's much to learn, and we can see that there are teams who continuously, alongside Todak, we're seeing that Team Flash more consistently are winning out their Clash squads, more consistently are getting into those final rings, and honestly, they were one of those few teams that I thought they just don't have the firepower, and they have to kind of cheese their way through. It feels like they really had some impact in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of impact overall, and I'm loving it. I would love to see more of this, especially for Todak right now, but I'm expecting this to happen for the other teams like Gendra or X-Band, especially with X-Band grabbing that buoy already. And you did mention a few more of Gendra on how aggressive they can get, but it's more of like finalizing themselves. It's either with a booyah or a higher placement point, because that's, I believe that's the only thing that's lacking for them compared to those at the bottom 6 of the leaderboard.
I think they do have some form of closing power. Again, we see they clearly have the mechanics to get to where they want to be. In terms of raw positioning, I think they finally started to hit that plateau, because from week number 1 we saw that they can make it into top 6, but it comes at a very big cost of a couple of decisions. Here in week 2, I think it's become a little more evident that Kagendra's mid-game is where they're starting to struggle to make those choices. More often than not, they get into these awkward spots where they just kind of have to fight. You've given yourself no opportunity to walk away from it, which I think is the big issue.
Yeah, definitely. Probably it's just the hype that the other teams are feeling as well. What you did in a week 1 will not work anymore, especially with more of the motivation as well as momentum that's being taken by the team. But let's head over to the MVP right now. It is Death, who is not only bringing death to the opponent, but bringing a little bit of life as a support for the team with that Cassie, Olivia, that Ford, as well as Alvaro. It's not just a support, he's also the bomber. So I love this little bit mix of this and that in terms of role, but he brought in 4 elimination, damage, 3158. There's a lot coming from a guy who's focused more on giving health to your teammates and also knockdowns. So I love how it is with Death right now, the bomber support of Team Flash.
Yeah, pretty interesting with how he wants to play, right? Considering that Flash isn't the most aggressive team, it kind of makes sense, right? You only want to make sure that your entry fraggers are the ones who are going to be okay. You can still pick up the Valiant Dash as an active skill card that you can find on the battlefield. I'm pretty sure that they're running the Oscar on ABCD. Begs the question, what is everybody else running? Are they still looking to play with a Chrono, or again, I'm pretty sure they have Riptide Rhythm. The Coda, yes.
I think so. I believe so. So Wang M might have that Skylar Riptide Rhythm. We will be seeing more of the Coda. No! Koda is not there, so they switch Kurono for Koda for the Zom, and then ABC, you're right, Oscar is in there, and then Wong M and the Skylar and Cassie for Death. So, Kurono, the time turner really is like going for a comeback right now, and the Zom using that with a Thiva as well as J Beebs and at Joseph gives more of chances, especially if one player is knocked down, you pull out time turner, bring him up with only a few seconds or even less a second with a Thiva, and you're back in play.
Yeah, which really makes a lot of sense to how they want to play their composition, right? Have your Cassie player walk in, not even as a second entry fragger, but you have the Zom trying to, cause a little bit of chaos, walk alongside to follow through on the Valiant dash to give Cassie a place to kind of hunker down, and as well as just raw line of sight for Hwangam. Generally speaking, it fits the Flash personality with the way that they play this game. But by the end of it, with 19 eliminations, you can't say that they aren't getting major points. 31 total points alongside with 12 placement points from the Booyah. Nobody even comes remotely close to them, and that's going to shoot them up in the standings even further.
Yeah, definitely, and that 31 points is the highest that we have for today. But speaking of highest, Todak on number 1, though it's a little short on what the other teams has brought in, especially for the team of the day. RQ on day number 1 has brought in 102, Falcons on day number 2 has brought 107, and RQ back on 101. But Todak being there, staying there from the beginning up until the end, with less than 100 points is still good on my list. The only thing that's missing, though, that could have made them cross over is a Booyah.
Yeah, that Booyah would have set him right over the edge, but now the games are on. Flash with 162 total points push themselves up